We're going to begin with the celebration of former President George H.W. Bush's life and legacy. The nation's 41st president lying in state at the Capitol Rotunda. That's a live look right now, and you see people are lining up again this morning, as they did all throughout the night, to pay their respects.
And last night, President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump also came to pay their respects hours after the late president was transported through the streets of Washington to the Capitol.
That was quite a motorcade during the afternoon. Crowds gathered outside to watch the casket arrive. You see them there. Inside, the president's family, joined by those he served with in Congress and the White House, official Washington's farewell. President Bush will lie in state until the state funeral at Washington's National Cathedral tomorrow. Our senior national correspondent Terry Moran starts us off. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, George. It's such an inspiring scene here. People filing by, paying their respects. I just spoke with a family arriving before work, before school. I spoke to the dad. He said, pointing to his kids, I wanted them to be inspired. And what's really inspiring, what the special feeling here is that people are paying tribute not just to President Bush's record in office, but more to his character as a man.
Last night, under the Great Dome of the Capitol, this solemn presidential tribute. President Trump with First Lady Melania at his side, paying their respects to President George Herbert Walker Bush. Heads bowed, they stood there for minutes. And then one final salute from the 45th president to the 41st president. The moment capped a day filled with emotion and pageantry as the nation's leaders gathered to honor a president and to remember a good man. George Bush's final journey to Washington, D.C. began in his home state of Texas, his family standing beside him as it began, his casket draped in an American flag. The president's service dog, Sully, also right there with him. His Secret Service detail on duty one last time, their final mission for their commander-in-chief, carrying him out of the funeral home. The motorcade arrived at Ellington Field Joint Reserve Base, parents standing with their children there to witness history. The Bush family boarded Air Force One, renamed Special Air Mission 41, for this exceptional occasion. And when it arrived at Andrews Air Force Base late afternoon, Navy sailors from the USS George H.W. Bush were waiting, standing at attention. Family members watching silently as the president's casket was taken into a black hearse. The motorcade then traveled through the streets of Washington, D.C., arriving at the U.S. Capitol at dusk. A perfect sunset, the sky stunning, streaked with color, nature's pageant. Members of the military carrying the casket while a 21-gun salute echoed through the evening. The late president's firstborn son, former President George W. Bush, somber and strained as he and the rest of the Bush clan waited at the top of the steps to escort their patriarch to the place of honor. And also in attendance, the members of the first President Bush's administration, including Dick Cheney, Colin Powell, and his closest friend and Secretary of State, James Baker. The emotions of the moment were etched on their faces. The procession then slowly made its way to the rotunda, where the casket was placed on the Lincoln catafalque. Members of Congress and justices of the Supreme Court were also gathered there. And then George Herbert Walker Bush was remembered as a man of character.
There was a kindness about the man that was evident to everyone who ever met him.
As a public servant whose life impacted millions.
He made monumental contributions to freedom with a fundamental decency that resonates across generations.
And as a devoted husband to his beloved wife, Barbara.
The patriot who lies before us was blessed with many gifts, but there was no doubt which he prized most of all. A great love story began at that Christmas dance when George Bush met Barbara Pierce.
The solemn ceremony was the final public appearance of the day for a family in mourning. You could see the grief of the farewell on the face of the 43rd president. At 7:30 p.m., the public was allowed to enter the Capitol to pay their respects, a lone Boy Scout saluting the president he never knew.
A Boy Scout salute. He would have liked that. President Bush didn't like to talk about himself. His mother taught him not to use the big I, as she said. But the country's talking about him now, and there are many ways to be remembered. Maybe the best is as he is being remembered, as a good man. Guys?
That's so true. That is beautiful. Thank you, Terry.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.